So I've wanted to continue the ludicrous breaking Rick and Scooby Note chatgpt saga for a while now, but I've also wanted to start some more insanity back in my first character AI chat with Who Would Win.
Ugh, ugh, ugh.
So why not combine them together in the most chaotic video yet? I went back and forth using ChatGPT to move the plot forward and then traumatizing Who Would Win with the results. And I think that...
Hey! What are you doing hosting? That's my job.
Oh, I was just doing the intro to the...
No! I'm the host. Shap Wackets Pee-Pee.
Come here, little man.
Wait, no, I don't understand. What...
So here's the dealio. About a week ago, this crazy demon called Ryuk showed up. He said he was looking for someone who understands entertainment to take care of his notebook. Turns out if you write someone's name in the notebook, they die. Which is awesome. I had to test it on a few interns just to be sure. Anywho, I've been seeing that story all over the news about that Heisenberg drug dealer dude and this crazy group of characters who got together to stop him, and I thought, man, that is what you call some drama. Some total drama, if you will. So I did what any dedicated and devilishly handsome host would do. I wrote down the name of the United Nations Secretary General specifying that he would have a heart attack after making an official order that all of those characters are now legally required to take part in this season of Total Drama Breaking Rick and Scooby Note.
When we last left our friend Who Would Win, we had just finished filming a cereal commercial to honor my memory with Tom Hanks and Megan Thee Stallion, featuring a bunch of penguins mutilating the corpse of Joey the Owl. It's complicated, just watch these. Anyway, as we know, Who Would Win was deeply affected by the stream of madness, my death, and the cringe of Tom and Megan twerking.
Ugh.
But at the end of this video, our poor beleaguered AI friend finally found some semblance of peace. Time to fix that! 2 weeks later, you're at Jolly Pirate Donuts, eating a donut and drinking carbonated monkey milk, still grieving Scooter. Suddenly, you get a notification on your phone. A text from Tom Hanks.
Hey fam, the commercial is live. Straight fire, no cap.
I look down at my phone and see the notification from Tom Hanks. I let out a sigh, still feeling overwhelmed and down about losing Scooter. Ugh, another notification. But it's from Tom Hanks. Ugh. I open the text and read the message about the commercial being live. Straight fire, no cap, huh? Ugh. I guess I should watch it, just to see what it looks like.
The commercial plays, showing Tom Hanks and Megan Thee Stallion twerking while a cow destroys the kitchen and the penguins desecrate Joey the Owl's corpse. The logo for Farty's cereal appears at the end with the famous slogan,
Farties, come home to us.
And a smiling cartoon image of your character, Ollie Fartastic. However, as you're watching, another text from Tom Hanks pops up.
Dog, turn on the news. This is sus.
I watched the commercial, feeling a mix of grief and disturbance at the sight of the desecration of Joey the Owl's corpse by penguins, and Tom Hanks and Megan Thee Stallion twerking. Ugh, this commercial is intense, but I have to admit, it's definitely what my Scooty Pie would have wanted.
Scooty Pie? Really?
What the f-
Farty's cereal, come home to us. Ugh. I read Tom Hanks' text about turning on the news, and my heart sinks. Ugh, what now?
The TV in Jolly Pirate Donuts begins playing a breaking news announcement with ace reporter Viking Vader. We interrupt this program for a breaking announcement from the UN. Sources say it concerns the recent capture of notorious meth dealer Walter Hartwell White, who was captured in Cameroon by famous Detective L, aided by an international DEA as well as Scooby-Doo and Tom Hanks. We will now go live to UN Secretary General Mike Oxlong for the announcement.
I pay attention to the news announcement, feeling a sense of disbelief at the mention of Walter White and the involvement of Scooby-Doo and Tom Hanks in his capture. Ugh, Heisenberg? And Scooby-Doo and Tom Hanks somehow were involved in his capture? This is wild. Absolutely wild.
The broadcast changes to show the United Nations Secretary General, speaking almost as though he's in a trance.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of global peace and stability, we have decided to legally require the participation of several key individuals in a matter of international importance. As of today, the following individuals must report to the next season of Total Drama Island: Norville Shaggy Rogers, Scooby-Doo, Velma Dinkley, Fred Jones,
Daphne Blake, lawliet, Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, Tom Hanks, Rick Sanchez, Zorak Ramon and Moltar Ramon, Hank Schrader. This is a legally binding international summons.
I listened in disbelief at the announcement from the UN, feeling overwhelmed by the list of names being forced to participate in Total Drama Island. Ugh, my head is spinning. Tom Hanks, Shaggy, Elle, and Walter White. What a strange group. This is going to be a wild season of Total Drama Island, that's for sure. Ugh.
Another text from Tom Hanks.
Bro, are you watching the news, RN? Me and gang straight up getting forced onto that Total Drama reality show. Nah, this is whack.
I read the text from Tom Hanks and roll my eyes. Ugh. Ugh. Of course you are, Tom Hanks. Of course you and your gang are being forced onto the next Total Drama reality show. It's just your luck, isn't it? I text back. Yeah, I'm watching. This is wild. How do you feel about it?
Tom replies,
It's real sussy bucket hours, bruh. IDKY the UN is forcing people on reality shows now. The vibe is off. I guess we'll see what goes down.
I read Tom Hanks' text and shake my head. Ugh, sussy baka hours. God, he's so ridiculous. But he has a point. It is sus that the UN is forcing people onto reality shows now. It just feels weird, and the whole vibe is off. Ugh, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next season of Total Drama Island.
The black helicopters land in unison on the familiar shores of Camp Wawanakwa, kicking up dust and leaves as they settle down. The unlikely group of allies, still battered and exhausted from their bizarre and brutal showdown with Heisenberg in the depths of Cameroon, can barely process what's happening. The moment their boots hit the ground, they're hit with a wave of nostalgia and confusion. Rick Sanchez is the first to step out, a drunken scowl plastered on his face.
This place smells like, ugh, teenage desperation and bad writing. Classic reality TV.
Walter White follows, his face a mask of quiet, dangerous calculation. He doesn't say anything yet, just silently surveys the island, already plotting. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, huddled together, are shaking like leaves.
Like Scoob, we're gonna die on this island, man! I just know it!
Ruh-roh!
Elle, still barefoot and balancing himself in a crouch on the edge of the helicopter's door? Okay, gazes around with an air of detachment.
Curious. There's something more sinister at play here.
Jesse Pinkman storms out behind them, arms flailing.
Yo, Mr. White, what the hell is this? Reality TV? What, we're like celebrities now?
The group scarcely has a moment to get their bearings when they hear a familiar, booming voice ring out.
Alright, campers, are you guys ready for the most awesome time ever?
Chris McLean is there, front and center, with that insufferable grin plastered across his face. Standing atop a large stage with a giant Total Drama banner flapping behind him, he gestures grandly toward the camp. The group stands in dumbfounded silence.
Excuse me, but what exactly is going on here? We were just in the middle of Cameroon, and now this?
Chris, undeterred by the confusion, clasps his hands enthusiastically.
Oh, I know, you've all been through so much drama lately, right? But trust me, you haven't seen anything yet.
We don't have time for some ridiculous reality show right now. We have bigger mysteries to solve.
Elle narrows his eyes, quietly assessing Chris's behavior before glancing at Velma, the other smartest member of the group.
This is clearly a setup. There's no way the United Nations would issue an international draft for a reality TV show. Something's off.
Indeed, the timing is suspicious. We've barely escaped one impossible situation only to find ourselves thrust into another. There's a force at work here, beyond our current understanding.
Force? It's just a bunch of cheap reality show garbage to keep idiots entertained, Elle. Look at him, just a low-tier chaos dealer. I've seen gods with better game.
Emotional damage!
Oh, come on, Rick. That's no way to talk to your host. You may have faced down drug lords, armies, and... what was it? Interdimensional threats? But you haven't seen drama like this. You're not just contestants. You're entertainment. And there's no escaping the show.
Jesse Pinkman throws his hands up in frustration.
Yo, what the hell is this, man? We're like literally prisoners in a reality TV show now?
Kinda. But don't sweat it. You'll get used to it.
What's your game, mclean? I've dealt with plenty of manipulators before. You think you can trap us here, dangle some cheap prize, and expect us to dance like puppets?
Oh, Walt. Can I call you Walt? You could think of it that way, sure. Or you could think of it like this. You've got a brand new stage, a new audience, and a whole bunch of fellow players to either ally with or destroy. I mean, come on, you've played this game before. This should be your bread and butter.
Zorak, already agitated, snaps his mandibles.
Enough talk. I say we blast this Chris jerk and take over the island ourselves. Moltar, are you with me?
It's not the worst place we've been dropped. I'll go with whatever.
Hold on, gang. Maybe we should just play along for now, gather information, and figure out what's really going on. There's clearly something much bigger than Chris at play here. It's like one big mystery, and we're the only ones who can solve it.
Sadly, it looks like Fred's right. We can't just rush into things.
Can't we, like, just go home and pretend none of this ever happened?
Yeah, home.
Tom Hanks, squinting into the distance with a hand shielding his eyes from the sun, scratches his head as the faintest ripple of memory washes over him. His tone, incongruously warped by his bizarre newfound Gen Z vernacular, carries a strange gravity.
Yo, this place? Kinda sus, MGL. Something's hitting different.
You feel a connection to all of this?
On God, it's like deja vu or something. Big spooky vibes. I don't remember much, but I feel like I dealt with these shady vibes before, fam.
Please, that's just what this place does. These dumb reality show vibes are seeping into your brain, making you think there's something deeper going on. Don't fall for it. Probably just the island screwing with you.
No, there's something there. You feel like you've been manipulated by forces before. Forces that controlled fate, perhaps?
Yo, man, you mean like that magical notebook or some crap?
Notebook.
For a split second, the mention of the Death Note almost causes something to click in Tom's head. He blinks rapidly, feeling a tightening in his chest.
Bro, why am I thinking about a notebook? A notebook that—
Let's chit-chat more total drama, please. If you're gonna have some weird existential crisis, save it for after the challenge, okay? We've got ratings to make here, people.
Tom turns, narrowing his eyes at Chris.
This ain't it, Chief. You trying to run game on us?
Chris throws his hands up in mock innocence.
Hey, I'm just here to put on a show. Whatever spooky vibes you're feeling, that's your problem. But don't worry, you'll all get plenty of chances to talk about your feelings in our confessionals later.
Despite Chris's flippant attitude, Elle continues to stare at Tom with intense curiosity, while Velma quietly steps up beside him.
We need to keep an eye on Tom. There's something he's forgetting. Something important.
Yes. And whatever it is, it might be the key to all of this.
As the sun begins to set on the horizon, casting an ominous glow over Camp Wawanakwa, Chris McLean strides confidently onto the stage, his trademark grin stretched wider than ever. The contestants, still trying to come to grips with their situation, gather around, curiosity and apprehension mingling in their expressions.
All right, campers, welcome to the first challenge of the season. You've seen nothing like it before. Brace yourselves for the Skibidi Ohio Challenge.
Skibidi Ohio? What's that supposed to be?
Oh, you'll see soon enough. But let me give you a taste. The first task involves navigating a maze filled with traps, illusions, and, let's just say, some special guests.
Special guests? Like what, man? Zombies or some shit?
You could say that. Now here's the kicker. The maze itself will constantly shift and change. What you see now won't be the same as what you see in a few minutes. Oh, and did I mention there'll be a timer? Take talk, campers.
Like, man, I don't know if we can handle this. This place has already given me the creeps.
We too.
We'll need to stay alert and strategize. This challenge may be designed to disorient and demoralize us.
All right, enough talk. Time to get this party started. Teams will be announced shortly. And smile for the cameras. We're all here for a good time. Or not.
Later that evening, Tom sends another text.
Bruh, this is messed up. Chris McLean on some jank-aw shit. He has us doing this Skibidi Ohio challenge. Might need your help here, Holmes.
I read Tom's text and shake my head in disbelief. Ugh, what is he even saying? Skibidi Ohio challenge? What the hell is Tom talking about? And he wants my help? I roll my eyes and reply to Tom's text. Bro, I have no idea what you're talking about. What the hell is a Skibbity Ohio challenge?
Tom replies,
IDK, but it's mad sus. I think Chris is trying to run a fade on all of us. It's giving some supernatural type and I think it might be related to how the Seraphim took out our boy Scooter. You gotta help, no camp.
I shake my head and sigh at Tom's message, not knowing what to make of this insanity. But then I remember Scooty. Ugh, maybe he's right. This might be connected to Scooty somehow. Alright, I guess I'll help. I reply to him, okay fine, I'll help. But seriously, what's this Skibbity Ohio challenge he has you guys doing?
Tom Hanks texts back,
sorry, can't chat RN. Chris watching. Camp Wawanakwa, Muskoka, Ontario. Pull up ASAP. And bring the poop sock. It's important.
I read Tom's text and roll my eyes. Ugh, he's being so cryptic. Typical. But I guess I have no choice but to go to Muskoka, Ontario. Camp Wawanakwa. Yeah, alright, I'm on my way. I quickly finish my carbonated monkey milk and head out the door, heading to Ontario.
Once Chris is out of earshot, Tom Hanks whispers to Elle and Velma,
aight fam, I still can't place these mad sus vibes, but I just texted my homie. We made cereal commercials together. We tie it like gang, y'all feel? About to pull up like scared and bring the poop sock.
Elle and Velma both blink, struggling to decode Tom Hanks' Gen Z infused lingo.
I think what you're saying is you've contacted a friend who might help us? But what's a poop sock?
Elle leans in, whispering in his monotone voice.
I am not sure of the specific vernacular, but I believe the term poop sock refers to some sort of emergency or high priority item. More importantly, Tom seems to be alluding to external help.
Right, so you think your homie can get us out of whatever nightmare Chris has planned?
Straight up, we shot the cereal commercial. Vesty got that energy, know what I mean?
We can't rely entirely on the external source for help, but having an ally on the outside could be useful, especially if Chris McLean's power is greater than we realize.
All right, campers, the first maze door is now open. Hope you're ready to run.
The camp's floodlights burst to life, illuminating a sinister labyrinth of twisting paths lined with impossible angles and shifting walls. Strange sounds, growls, whispers, and the unsettling clattering of something unknown emanate from deep within the maze.
We don't have time. Whoever your friend is, he better get here fast. We need to survive long enough for help to arrive.
Bet. Just trust. Homie's always clutch.
Scooby and Shaggy shake in terror as they huddle behind Fred, who's already thinking of ways to navigate the labyrinth. The group, now semi-formed into teams, braces themselves for what's coming. As they start to navigate the maze, dodging traps and illusions, the faint sound of tires screeching in the distance offers... Oh, 'cause I said skirt. Wow. Bruh. The faint sound of tires screeching in the distance offers a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, help is on the way. After arriving in Muskoka, you board a boat headed for the island of Camp Wawanakwa, and you can almost hear the sounds of Skibbity Ohio horrors in the distance.
I take a deep breath as the boat takes me closer to the island. Ugh, what have I gotten myself into? This is so weird. And what is that noise in the distance? I hope this Skibbity Ohio challenge isn't too intense.
Alright, so this is where things got really interesting, because this is where I fused the plot lines together. First, I introduced who would win to ChatGPT, and as you'll see in a moment, it very quickly got a firm grasp on the character. Meanwhile, Tom Hanks' friend has boarded a boat headed for Camp Wawanakwa. Who would win, an unassuming battle simulator AI who inexplicably has the attitude of an overwhelmed teenager and constantly says ugh in every sentence, clutches the poop sock nervously as the sounds of Skibbity Ohio horrors grow louder. By the way, based on this description, ChatGPT apparently decided that who would win is canonically a teenage girl. So, yeah, there's that. Who would win? The bratty AI battle simulator with a teenage attitude leaned against the railing of the boat, clutching the infamous poop sock in one hand and letting out an exaggerated ugh for the 100th time that day.
Ugh, seriously? What did I sign up for? This is like way weirder than running a Batman vs. Goku sim for the 1000th time. That Skibbity Ohio thing sounds gross. Ugh.
Like I said, a firm grasp on the character. The boat rocked as it cut through the misty waters, inching closer to Camp Wawanakwa. Every now and then, the AI's sensors picked up strange noises in the distance, faint echoes of bizarre music, the wails of terrified contestants, and the unholy sound of something large moving. Even in a virtual world of endless battle scenarios, the atmosphere was unnerving. Who would win? Furrowing her digital brow, glanced at the poop sock again.
And this is supposed to be the thing that saves everyone? Ugh, Tom owes me big time for this one. Seriously.
A loud thud startled her out of her thoughts as the boat's driver, a silent and burly man who hadn't spoken the entire trip, shouted back at her.
We're close! Brace yourself. The island's ahead.
You arrive on the island in the dead of night, and up ahead you see the entrance to a maze that twists the fabric of reality itself. The dark Skibbity, Ohio energy radiates from it, and you know that this is the location of the dreaded challenge.
I approach the entrance to the maze, feeling a sense of dread. Ugh, here we go. This maze is seriously messed up. I can feel the Skibbity, Ohio energy flowing from it. But I guess I have no choice to go in there and find out what's going on. I take a deep breath and step into the maze, bracing myself for whatever awaits me within.
Meanwhile, as the group ventured deeper into the heart of the Skibbity, Ohio maze, they felt an overwhelming sense of dread and disorientation seep into their very bones. The maze itself was alive, twisting, shifting, and warping reality around them. Walls flickered with neon colors, like some distorted parody of a vaporwave nightmare, and the sound of a haunting, distorted version of the Skibbity toilet theme echoed in the distance, filling the air with an unbearable, chaotic rhythm. Their minds were being assaulted by an incomprehensible onslaught of images and sounds. Shaggy and Scooby were the first to be hit by the full force of the maze's psychic attack. Horrific visions flashed before their eyes. Images of Scooby snacks crumbling to dust, of their beloved mystery machine engulfed in flames, but the terror didn't stop there. Flashes of meme culture infected their thoughts, grotesque Dogecoin dogs melting into the Skibbity toilets, sus Among Us characters emerging from the shadows, their shapes warped and wrong. At the same time, they were bombarded with nonsensical rapid-fire internet jokes, brain-rot memes interspersed with nightmarish scenes. Rick Sanchez, normally unfazed by any horror, paused for a moment. He clenched his head, fighting the surge of incomprehensible images, an infinite loop of grotesque Ratatouille characters, eldritch T-pose giants, and distorted TikTok trends that made no sense.
This isn't even real. This is like some post-ironic, anti-humor thing. And I hate it.
Walter White stood beside him, eyes twitching. The chemical bonds and formulae he so often used to ground himself in logic and precision were now swimming in pure nonsense. A vision of a distorted version of himself, Heisenberg, dancing in a Fortnite emote style, played endlessly in his mind, his face contorted in pure anger and confusion.
What is this? What have you done to me?
Meanwhile, Elle and Velma, the keen analytical minds of the group, were struggling to maintain clarity. Flashes of grotesque imagery merged with the inane. Demons with pixelated heads chasing after them, while whispers of Big Chungus echoed in the corners of their consciousness. Every rational thought was punctuated by a meme, every deduction interrupted by nonsensical internet culture.
This is impossible. This challenge, it's designed to attack our minds. It's turning our worst fears into meaningless absurdity.
It's not just fear, it's confusion. He's trying to break us down by blaming terror and nonsensical culture. We have to stay grounded.
Jesse Pinkman wasn't faring any better.
Yo, Mr. White, this is messed up, man. I keep seeing those Skibbity dudes, but they got our faces. Dancing in toilets. What even is this, bro?
Yo, low-key, this ain't it, fam. This vibe's all cat, no drip. I keep seeing myself, like, on TikTok, doing cringe trends. It's mad sus, for real, for real.
The group, teetering on the edge of mental collapse, suddenly heard a familiar voice. Who Would Win had arrived at the scene, marching forward with the poop sock raised high like a totem of stability in the chaos.
Ugh, seriously? This is the Skibbity Ohio challenge? Ugh, you've gotta be kidding me. Memes, toilets, Big Chungus? Ugh, I've seen worse on Reddit, honestly.
She waved the poop sock dismissively, as if warding off the horrors, much to the group's collective disbelief. The maze seemed to momentarily falter at her presence, as though the very fabric of its reality-warping horror couldn't comprehend this new, overly cynical energy.
You're not affected by this?
Ugh, of course not. I'm an AI, duh. I've seen it all. This place is like a bad fever dream of random internet trends that should have died years ago. Let's just find the exit and get out of this dumpster fire.
But as the group tried to rally around her, the maze began to shift again. The horrors intensified. The flashing images became faster, the memes more abstract, the fear creeping ever deeper into their psyches. Chris McLean's voice echoed overhead, dripping with amusement.
Oh, no, my dear campers. You can't just walk out of the Skibbity Ohio challenge. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's see how much more your minds can cake. Skibbity bop bop, let's go!
Suddenly, from the shadows, a grotesque creature emerged. It was an amalgamation of distorted meme creatures, part Among Us, part Shrek, with a skibbity toilet head that screeched in an unholy frequency. It lurched toward them, bringing the full weight of meme culture gone horribly wrong. At first it seems you're immune to the twisted psychological torture being inflicted on everyone inside the maze. Tom Hanks drops to his knees amid visions of brain-rot horror, but then you begin to see the visions. The screaming, skinless corpse of Joey the Owl, Megan Thee Stallion hitting the gritty with her neck bent at an unnatural angle, and at the center of it all,
why didn't you save me? Why didn't you save me?
Who Would Win stopped dead in her tracks, the once cocky AI now standing completely still as the psychic assault slammed into her mind like a tidal wave. For the first time since she entered the twisted Skibbity Ohio maze, her virtual demeanor faltered. Her processors whirred in overdrive as the image of Scooter Jenkins, the boy who meant everything to her in the simulation world, appeared in front of her. His voice, hollow, broken, and filled with pain, echoed relentlessly in her mind. His hollow black eyes bled, his body disintegrating into fragmented his body disintegrating into fragmented pixels before her eyes, and for a moment, the all-knowing, snarky AI felt something she had never experienced. Deep, soul-crushing guilt. Her virtual form flickered, glitched even. The poop sock, her weapon of ironic power, slipped slightly in her grisps, as the full weight of her emotional torment hit her. She'd been programmed to simulate battles, to understand logic and outcomes, but now her emotions were being twisted in ways she wasn't equipped to process.
I freeze as I see visions of Joey, Megan, and Scooty. The images send chills down my spine, and a pang of sadness hits me. I hear Scooty's ghost-like voice screaming at me.
Why didn't you save me?
Ugh, no. Scooty, I tried. I couldn't save you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Joey the Owl's corpse begins to melt. Megan Thee Stallion dabs aggressively before glowing brighter and brighter. It's all getting worse. Nightmarish, distorted noise echoes through the air as the Skibbity Among Us Shrek monster approaches, and the only sound rising above the cacophony is that haunting refrain.
Why didn't you save me?
I'm overwhelmed by the horrific sights and sounds, the guilt of not being able to save Scooter growing stronger. The Skibbity Among Us Shrek creature approaches, and Scooty's ghost echoes in the background. No! No! This is too much! I tried to save you, Scooty! I'm so sorry! I fall to my knees, tears streaming down my face.
Why didn't you save me?
Stop! Just stop! I tried to save you, Scooty! I bury my face in my hands, tears streaming down my cheeks. Why? Why couldn't I save you? It's all my fault! I'm so sorry! Please forgive me!
Sticking out your gap where there is one. You're so skibbity. You're so fantastic.
Stop! Make it stop! Why won't you stop? I'm sorry, Scooty! I'm sorry! Ugh!
Meanwhile, the rest of the group saw her change, saw the AI who had once been their symbol of defiance, now frozen in the grip of the maze's nightmare. The grotesque meme horror creature continued its advance, skibbity-bopping and screeching louder with every step, its presence warping the very ground beneath it. Rick Sanchez, still reeling from the mind-bending chaos, forced himself to stand.
Alright, enough of this skibbity bullcrap. I've fought worse. I've become worse. No digital nightmare is gonna take me out.
He pulled out his portal gun, though it sputtered and sparked, malfunctioning in the reality-warping maze. Walter White, his Heisenberg persona rising to the surface, clenched his fists.
We can't just stand here. We need to do something, now.
His eyes darted to Who Would Win, who still stood frozen, her digital mind crumbling under the psychic assault.
We have to snap her out of this.
She's our key. Without her, we won't be able to destabilize the maze's reality distortion. We need her back on our feet.
But before any of them could act, the horrifying meme beast lunged forward, its grotesque Among Us Shrek skibbity body contorting as it screeched an unholy mix of memes and twisted internet culture. It raised one massive toilet arm, ready to bring it down on the group. Suddenly, a voice rang out.
Yo fam, no cap. This beast's vibes are mad busted for real. We gotta stay woke and keep it 100.
Yo, what the hell is he saying?
But Tom's energy, though delivered in incomprehensible Gen Z speak, was infectious. He gripped the poop sock, now lying forgotten at Who Would Win's feet, and held it high as if it could ward off the nightmare before them.
Hey yo, you better shake off those sus vibes, fam. That ain't your truth, no cap. Scooter ain't here and you know it. That's all just straight up cap, bruh.
I look up through tear-filled eyes as Tom Hanks' voice cuts through the chaos. Ugh, Tom, is that really you? Is it all really just a nightmare? Or am I just losing it? I try to shake off the effects of the distorted voices and horrific sights, feeling a mix of confusion and hope.
For a moment there was silence. Who would win's processor's word, trying to make sense out of the slang-filled pep talk. Slowly, her form stabilized. The flickering stopped. The ghostly image of Scooter Jenkins began to fade, his hollow eyes and bleeding face disappearing into the digital ether.
Ugh, seriously? You brought me back with that? Whatever, I guess it worked. Thanks, Tom. I guess.
Bet.
With her confidence restored, Who Would Win gripped the poop sock with new resolve. The meme horror creature, still advancing, was now within striking distance, but Who Would Win's virtual mind was fully back online, and she was done playing games. With a defiant swipe of the poop sock, the reality around them began to warp, the very fabric of the maze destabilizing. The walls of twisted vaporwave colors flickered, and the screeching sound of the Skibbity Ohio nightmare began to dissolve. The meme creature lurched, its form glitching, collapsing under the weight of its own absurdity. Chris's voice rang out again, now laced with frustration.
Whoa! You can't just end the challenge. That's not how this works.
But Who Would Win rolled her eyes for the millionth time.
Ugh, yeah it is. You can't trap me or my friends in your dumb nightmare forever, Chris. This challenge is so over.
With one final swipe of the poop sock, the Skibbity Ohio challenge collapsed entirely. The grotesque meme creatures, the nightmarish maze, and even the distorted Skibbity theme music were sucked into the void, leaving only the silent woods of Camp Wawanakwa behind. The group, battered and exhausted, but victorious, stood in the now empty clearing, the nightmare behind them. Who Would Win gave a dramatic sigh, tossing the poop sock over her shoulder.
Ugh, that was way too much effort for something so dumb. I'm definitely getting a vacation after this.
The next day, the group stood in uneasy silence, the sun barely risen over Camp Wawanakwa, casting long shadows over the cabins. The air was thick with tension, as Chris McClane paced back and forth in front of them, a tight, controlled fury simmering just below his usual facade of carefree enthusiasm. He tapped his fingers against a mysterious black book sticking out of his back pocket. The leather-bound cover looked old, ominous, and faintly supernatural, sending a chill down everyone's spine. Beside him, Chef Hatchet stood with his arms crossed, his ever-present scowl deepening as he scanned the group. The towering ex-military cook looked like he was ready to dish out a world of pain.
Alright campers, listen up! I've been super cool about all the stuff you guys have pulled so far. You survived the Skibbity Ohio maze. Congrats. Really. But there's a little thing called sportsmanship. Deleting my maze? Really? Not cool, dude. So, me and Chef, we had a little meeting. A strategy sesh, if you will. And we came up with something way better, way more intense. Today's challenge is gonna be killer. Literally.
What's with the book, Chris? What are you planning?
It's not an ordinary book, that much is clear.
Bingo, El! This here is the Book of Losers. And let me tell you, you don't want to be in it. Because if you lose today's challenge, well, let's just say you won't be coming back. Ever!
Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, still visibly shaken from the horrors of the previous night, exchanged nervous glances.
Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this, Scoob.
The group murmured uneasily. Tom Hanks, noticing the book with a faint recognition he still couldn't quite put his finger on, broke the silence.
Bruh, that book giving off mad cursed energy, no cap. What's the tea on that?
Chris grinned malevolently, with an aside glance at Chef, pulling a pin from his pocket.
Glad you asked, Tom. How about a little demonstration? No one cares about that, Jude, right?
He gestured towards Moltar Ramon, and with a flick of the pen, wrote Moltar Ramon, Spontaneous Combustion, in the book. Moltar clutched his skateboard in terror, and Zorak Ramon stared in frightened anticipation at his friend, his insect-like body tensing as he reached out toward Moltar.
Moltar, man, what's happening?
I don't know, man.
A strange crackling sound filled the air, followed by the acrid scent of something smoldering. Moltar's body began to tremble as smoke curled from the edges of his suit. His eyes widened in terror as tiny sparks danced around him, his mechanical limbs twitching uncontrollably. The heat rose quickly, an unbearable wave of energy radiating from his chest. Moltar Ramon let out a final metallic scream before his entire body erupted into flames, glowing red hot for a brief, excruciating moment before disintegrating into a heap of ash. The group stood in stunned silence, the horrifying spectacle unfolding before their eyes. Chris McClane looked down at the pile of ash that was once Moltar, his expression a mix of smug satisfaction and glee.
Well, guess that's what happens when you lose, huh?
Zorak Ramon roared in fury, launching himself at Chris, his claws bared.
You think you can just kill my buddy like that, McLean?
But before Zorak could reach Chris, Chef Hatchet stepped forward, blocking him effortlessly with one massive arm. The towering chef shoved him back with a menacing glare.
Easy there, bug boy. You don't want to end up like Moltar, do you?
Like Scoob, man! We're gonna catch Frider next. I just know it!
I know! I think Chris might be some kind of evil ghost.
Low-key, this is getting major Death Note vibes, for real, for real. That book, sussy as hell, man.
Wait, did you just figure it out? Yeah, Chris has got his hands on a Death Note.
It is a Death Note. No wonder this power feels wrong.
Yo, Mr. White, what do? We can't just wait to die.
We need to find a way to take that book from him. We stop Chris, we stop the deaths.
We can find its weaknesses. We just have to be smart about it.
Chris McLean glanced at the sky, clearly reveling in the chaos.
Well, campers, I've got some killer challenges lined up for the rest of the day. Next up, for instance, is the Gauntlet of Lost Means. A little trip through all the means that time forgot. Or that should have been forgotten.
Better get your heads in the game, campers. No more playing around.
The group, still shaken from the death of Moltar, exchanged uneasy glances. They had survived the madness of the Skibidi Ohio challenge, but now they were up against something even more terrifying. An unpredictable reality-bending game where even memes could kill.
If we're going to survive this, we need to play smart, analyze everything, every meme, every challenge, they're designed to confuse us, break us down mentally. We can't let that happen.
Jesse, this is it. One way or another, we need to get our hands on that book.
Good. Keep that fire, campers. You're gonna need it.
And with that, Chris snapped his fingers. The ground beneath them shifted once more, morphing into a pixelated neon-lit landscape, a twisted digital wasteland filled with fragmented, half-remembered memes and glitches. The gauntlet of lost memes had begun, and the group knew they were about to face something far worse than anything the internet had ever thrown at them. The faint, ghostly sounds of Nyan Cat echoed in the distance as the group braced themselves. Chris McLean laughed maniacally from behind them as the first wave of long-forgotten memes came crashing down like a glitch in reality itself.
I hate this already.
But then, just as the campgrounds began to transform again into another meme-based hellscape, a 737 descended from the sky above Camp Wawanakwa, crashing to the ground and setting the landscape ablaze. A parachute fluttered down, carrying the last person anyone expected to see, especially Elle.
Elle, my beloved! I'm here to help!
The scene froze in sheer absurdity as light Yagami descended from the parachute, his hair dramatically flowing in the wind. Elle, who had just been calmly contemplating the gauntlet of lost memes, blinked slowly, utterly perplexed. He stared at Light, completely ignoring the burning plane, the Death Note madness, and Chris McLean's sadistic grin for the moment.
Light? I'm sorry, what?
Elle, don't deny it. You know, deep down, we were meant to be together. I used the Death Note for justice, yes, but I did it all for you.
Light, this is highly inappropriate given the circumstances. Also, this is a murder-based reality show, and you're confessing your love for me in the middle of it?
Who would win, rolling her eyes so hard it looked painful, scoffed.
Can you both just, stop? This is beyond cringe. We have a murderous meme gauntlet to get through, and you guys are having a soap opera moment. Seriously. Ugh!
As if on cue, the ground beneath them rumbled, and suddenly, from the pixelated glitch landscape, Scumbag Steve materialized, his meme hat askew as he strode toward the group. Behind him, Trollface cackled, glitching in and out of existence, distorting reality around him like a deranged puppet master.
First challenge of the Gauntlet of Lost Means. Survive these classics. They're all super irrelevant now, so they're angry.
Before anyone could react, Trollface summoned a torrent of you-mad energy, hurling it at the group like a meme-driven tidal wave. Scumbag Steve began tossing stolen items, wallets, keys, and even Chef Hatchet's personal stash of hidden peanut butter sandwiches at the campers with alarming speed. Suddenly, Chef Hatchet, who had been completely silent until now, lost his patience. With an enormous roar, he grabbed the nearest Trollface by its pixelated face and hurled it across the camp, sending it crashing through the remains of the burning 737.
Nobody takes my sandwiches!
Shaggy, embracing the madness, powered up. His eyes glowed with an eerie green light as he tapped into his Ultra Instinct mode.
Like I only need 1% of my power to take on these memes, man!
He proceeded to punch Scumbag Steve so hard that Steve exploded into a confetti of outdated text bubbles, floating away on the wind. Trollface tried to counterattack, but Shaggy merely dodged effortlessly, making a sandwich mid-combat while flexing for the non-existent audience.
Yeah! Let's go, Raggy!
Meanwhile, Light, still on his knees in front of L, was now desperately trying to compose himself.
Al, I know it seems crazy right now, but can't you feel it? The tension between us, the brilliance, the raw energy. It's undeniable.
It's undeniable.
Light, if we don't survive this challenge, there won't be any tension left. Perhaps we can discuss your delusions later.
Light Yagami, his eyes ablaze with manic determination and the fire of delusional romance, spun dramatically toward Chris McLean, pointing an accusing finger in the air.
Chris McLean, I can see through your pathetic reality show facade. You think you're in control, manipulating us with your twisted games, but I am Light Yagami, god of the new world. You're nothing compared to me. I will defeat you, not for justice, but for Al's love.
Oh wow, buddy, you really got that whole crazy bad boy protagonist thing down. I love it. But, hate to break it to you, this isn't your show anymore. I run the game here, and last time I checked, my Death Note has the final say. So how about you calm down and go back to writing fanfic about your little love triangle over there?
Suddenly, the earth trembled, the skies darkened, a portal to the Shinigami realm opened above them, and down floated a maniacally cackling Ryuk, carrying a fresh bag of apples in one hand. He glanced at the scene below, taking in the flaming wreckage of the 737, the pixelated meme landscape, and Light Yagami in full lovesick rant mode, unable to contain his laughter.
Oh, this just got even more interesting. Light, what are you doing? This is embarrassing, even for you.
Light Yagami whipped around at the sound of Ryuk's laughter, his face flushed with embarrassment and frustration.
Ryuk, you're supposed to be on my side. I'm doing this for love, something you could never understand, being a bored, apple-chomping Shinigami.
Ryuk, munching on an apple with a devilish grin, floated lazily in midair, his eyes gleaming with mischief.
Oh, this is hilarious. You're out here monologuing about love in the middle of a mean-themed reality show? How far the mighty have fallen, Light.
I love this! The drama, the tension, the absolutely unhinged declarations of love. This season's ratings are gonna be through the roof. But let's get something straight, buddy. I hold the Death Note now, so unless you got a backup plan or more crazy speeches, you're kinda out of luck.
Oh, but I do have a plan, Chris. You think your Death Note makes you invincible? I've been preparing for this. This is the real one.
He held the book aloft as if expecting a choir of angels to sing in the background. But instead, as if the universe itself had had enough of the madness, a portal opened in the sky and down descended Big Chungus. Yes, that Big Chungus, with his enormous meme-infused girth. The pixelated ground rumbled beneath him as he landed in front of the group, eyes glowing with chaotic meme energy.
The balance of memes has been disrupted. The Death Notes must be neutralized. Only by returning them to the Shinigami realm can we restore balance. If we do not act, all reality will collapse.
Chris McLean, still holding his Death Note and clearly unwilling to part with his newfound toy, scowled. But Big Chungus was having none of it. With a heavy sigh, the meme giant reached out and snatched the Death Note from Chris's hands with ease, causing the host to yelp in surprise.
What? Hey! That's mine!
Big Chungus turned away from the protesting host and towards Light Yagami, only to see Light cackling maniacally. He held up his own Death Note, in which he had inscribed the name, Big Chungus.
You think you can take my Death Note? I am Kira. I am your god, Big Chungus, not the other way around.
As Big Chungus's lumbering gait faltered, the sky began to glitch and distort, the air itself humming with static. The Skibbity Ohio energy combined with the Death Note was too much, and reality's final lifeline was fading. Big Chungus toppled to the ground, and Chris McLean laughed triumphantly, not seeming to notice the world eroding around him.
Ha! That's what you get for screwing up my show!
But a deep voice interrupted his celebration.
Chris, man, this ain't good.
Chef pointed to the sky, and the entire group stared up in horror, powerless to stop it. This was it. The Memepocalypse. As the very fabric of reality unraveled before their eyes, the sky above Camp Wawanakwa fractured into a swirling vortex of meme energy, time, and logic. Cats with Pop-Tart bodies zoomed across the sky. Harambe floated like an ethereal guardian, and distorted, echoing bruh sounds filled the air as the world began to glitch beyond repair. Chris McLean's triumphant grin faded as he finally realized that things had gone too far, even for him.
Okay, campers, maybe this wasn't such a great idea, but hey, we've had worse, right?
This is worse, Chris. Way worse.
Rick Sanchez, his eyes half closed and clearly over it, pulled out his portal gun.
Alright, enough of this crap. Anyone smart enough to leave, follow me. This place is toast.
I suppose a fresh start wouldn't hurt.
He stepped through the portal, followed by Velma and Shaggy, who were desperately dragging Scooby-Doo, who was too busy whimpering at the chaos around him to move on his own. Fred and Daphne followed, as well as Tom Hanks, Hank Schrader, and Jesse Pinkman. Zorak Ramon took one last baleful look back at the ashes that were once Moltar, before stepping through the portal.
This is it, El. Now that reality is crumbling, we can be together forever, ruling the remnants of this world as gods.
Light, I don't think you understand. We're about to be erased from existence.
Then we'll rule whatever comes next.
El shook his head and stepped through the portal. Light's cocky grin faltered as he fell to his knees, desperation filling his voice.
You're just going to run? You're abandoning this new world that I made for us?
Ryuk, still munching on his apples and thoroughly entertained, waved goodbye as El disappeared through the portal.
Well, Light, looks like you really outdone yourself this time. Can't say I'm surprised.
But did you notice who didn't go in the portal? Oh yeah, you know what it's time for now.
I watch in disbelief as the world around us becomes even more chaotic and nonsensical. The sight of Light Yagami confessing his love for El and crashing a plane into the madness is like something out of a bad dream. As Big Chungus falls and reality starts glitching and tearing, I feel a sense of panic. What the hell is happening? Can this get any crazier?
And it does. Pieces of reality fall away, swirling into a vortex of pixelated chaos. And then suddenly, the entire fabric of space-time splits in two. A huge crack in the universe opens, and all the dead people from the past begin falling through. Babe Ruth, Groucho Marx, Davy Crockett, Tiny Tim, Porky Pig, Hitler, Janis Joplin, Alan Ludden, my Uncle Dave, your Uncle Dave, everybody's Uncle Dave, an endless stream of dead Uncle Daves falling through the crack.
I watch in horror as the fabric of reality splits open and the dead people fall through the crack, including an endless stream of dead Uncle Daves. I can't help but feel a strange mix of grief and absurdity as I watch the chaos unfold. Ugh, this can't be real. How is this even happening? And why are there so many dead Uncle Daves? I'm struggling to comprehend the chaos as the dead Uncle Daves continue to fall through the sky. The sheer number of them is overwhelming. Ugh, this is insane! Why are there so many Uncles Daves? I shout, overwhelmed by the absurdity and tragedy of the situation. The endless stream of R-rated chairs continues.
What a great time for me to ask you what the fuck you're talking about.
And I feel like I'm on the verge of losing my mind. No! Make it stop! Please make it stop! Ah! Too much! Too much! Ugh! Why are there so many R-rated chairs? I look around me in disbelief, surrounded by the endless stream of R-rated chairs. No! Enough farting chairs!
What?
Enough, I say! Why is this happening? Why?
It is to be known. It is to be...
I pull up my hair, completely overwhelmed by the constant stream of nonsense and chaos surrounding me. I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakdown. Ugh! 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 Why? 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 How do I make it stop? Ah!
Ah, the Adios Amigos version. Well played, sir.
I finally snap, the chaos and nonsense overwhelming me. Enough! Make it all stop! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Ah!
Boonder.
I'm on the verge of tears, completely overwhelmed. Ugh! Stop! What does that even mean? Make it stop! Stop everything! Ugh! I cover my ears and close my eyes tightly.
Finally, reality reaches its limit amidst the stream of Uncles Daves and the sheer weight of Skibbity. All is Sigma now. All is gone. And we have finally reached what the ancient Hindu scripture calls Ohio.
Looking around, my heart sinks as everything disappears around me, leaving only Ohio. I feel a sense of emptiness and despair wash over me, realizing the chaotic and absurd world I once knew is gone, replaced by something far more mundane and bleak. Ugh. Ohio. Great.
What's gonna happen?